Hi, everybody. This is Tommy Lasorda. Listen to the Sandlot, the best thing that could happen to you.
The one constant through all the years, Ray, has been baseball.
Are you crying?
It's a part of our past, Ray.
There's no crying.
It reminds us of all that once was good.
There's no crying in baseball.
Just a bit outside.
Baseball will be very, very good to me.
It's a simple game. You throw the ball, you hit the ball, you catch the ball.
Personally, I think we got hosed on that.
The Sandlot Radio Network is on the air. And now, starting pitcher for the Sandlot, former pro player and Major League Scout, Tad Powers.
This is National League All-Star Justin Upton.
Hi, this is Shane Victorino.
Hi, this is Albert Pujols.
Hi, this is David Wright.
It's Derek Jeter of the New York Yankees, and you're listening to The Sandlot.
Welcome to the Sandlot Radio Network Down Under podcast. This is the final episode of the season. As the leaves turn and the days cool down in Australia, we're transitioning from the heat of summer into the crisp vibes of autumn. Down under, March marks the shift. Summer's long sunny days are giving way to milder weather, falling leaves in the southern states, and that perfect time for one last trip to the beach before winter sets in. Meanwhile, across the Pacific in America, they're shaking off the chill of winter and stepping into the promise of spring. Flowers blooming, long days, and an unmistakable buzz of baseball returning. It's poetic, really. One baseball season is wrapping up here with our Aussies' focus, while another is just beginning to heat up over there. Our local summer leagues and international highlights are winding down, but MLB spring training is already underway, and we have the WBC just around the corner. Opening day starting very soon. The Sandlot, it's where everybody plays. It's a place of our own. It's our field. It's our neighborhood. It's our team. It's our home. I'm your host, Tad Powers. The Sandlot is presented by Diego Austin Talavera and sponsored by the Sandlot Radio Network, Grit Sports Collective, Guzman y Gomez, and by Freestyle Pool Sydney. You can tune into the Sandlot every weekend on Sirius XM Radio, MLB Network's podcast platform, and on YouTube, Spotify, SoundCloud, Pandora, Apple Music, and Simplecast. Over the last few weeks on the Sandlot Radio Network Down Under podcast, we have featured a father and son, Trent and Max Durrington. Father Trent played professional baseball and made it to the big leagues for over 5 years. Trent represented Australia in the first ever baseball classic, and now son Max is in his second professional season with Oakland Athletics and will represent Australia in this year's World Baseball Classic. We have also featured Takara Geldenhays, a young Australian from the Cronulla Association who will play in the newly formed Women's Professional Baseball League. And we had arguably the best female baseball player in Australia, Caitlin Einan, a shortstop from Western Australia, who will also be playing in the WPBL starting in August. In addition to that, we caught up with Michael Ibbotson, another product of Cronulla Juniors and Seniors, and now the National Tournament Manager for Baseball Australia. He told us about how he became a baseball lifer. This week on the Sandlot, we have our Sandlot Radio Network resident baseball fanatic and producer, Nick Wright. We're going to talk about what's going on in MLB spring training and leading into the WBC, which is just a couple days away. Plus, we have baseball lifer, a very unlikely baseball player, Adrian Perrin. We're going to start you off with Nick, and we're going to talk about MLB spring training and the upcoming World Baseball Classic. We're with our Sandlot Radio Network resident baseball fanatic and producer, Nick Wright. Nick, what's going on with this WBC? How about those Aussies coming out the gate, upsetting Chinese Taipei 3-0 in Game 1?
Cat, unbelievable. We got the WBC. We got spring training. Baseball is back in business. And yes, how can we not start out with Australia winning against Chinese Taipei 3-0? And our guy, friend of the show, your guy, Travis Baidana, hitting a blast. And now, Tad, Australia is up on Chechnya 3-1. MLB, Buddhist Need, who plays for the White Sox, now hit a 3-run blast. Tad, I mean, Australian, everyone that's listening, I mean, they've got to be going crazy over there right now.
Not as the way you'd want them to, because it's not getting quite the exposure that you would hope, but hopefully they win another game. And what I'd like to see them do is an advance into the next round of the tournament. And if they do that, then it's really going to help them get put on the map more. And for them, because they're a federally funded organization, Baseball Australia, when they win a medal or if they advance far in a tournament, they get more funding. So the time, when they won the silver medal in the Olympics, it gave the the baseball organization a lot of money to work with. And as when they won the Intercontinental Cup in '99, they won it, gold medal. That really helped boost their ability to do more for baseball at the developmental level.
I mean, just an unbelievable start. We'll see how Australia finishes this game against Chechnya. Again, Curtis Mead with a big 3-run blast. What a great start. And now, Pat, I want to go over to the United States because they've got a game against Brazil coming up. And, I wanted to ask you a question because there's a lot of somewhat of a controversy. A lot of U.S. American fans are pretty split. But I know the Screwball is your guy, your favorite pitcher in the MLB, and he is going to be on a pitch count against Great Britain on Sunday. And it's going to be about a 55 pitch count. Now, a lot of people are thinking, hey, go represent your country. If it goes into some big innings against Japan, he should be out there. But I understand that the Detroit Tigers are being very, very cautious with him. So I'm curious what you think about Screwball having a pitch count.
Well, these major league clubs have a vested interest in the player because they've invested, in most cases, millions and millions of dollars into these players per year. And if they go out and play in a tournament and get hurt and they can't perform for their team for this season, that's a pretty big deal. So I understand it, and I can see Scooble's still young. It's early in the spring. 55 is probably not a bad thing. He's going to give them 3 to 4 quality innings in 55 pitches. And if he can do that, they've got such deep pitching bullpen that I think they'll be just fine. As you know, I'm still a favorite of Japan because they know how to play tournament baseball. They've won this thing the last 2 times, and they're really a tough team to beat. And they got some great pitching, too.
There was a really tight game. I'd love to see Screwball just come out, but I totally understand what you're saying. I know Paul Skeens has come out and said, hey, I know he's not going to be, they're not going to let him go hog wild, but I know Paul Skeens is going to be one of the pitching at the big moments. And, I also have a feeling he got a little roughed up in some exhibition games against the U.S., but I think Clinton Kershaw has some magic left in him. That's why I think USA is really going to go far, because I think you're going to see the last breath and a last little bit of greatness, maybe just a couple of good innings for old Kershaw. Ted, do you think Kershaw can make a big impact?
Yeah, I think that if they match him up against the right hitters, he can come in and get a couple guys out in a big situation and really help the USA be more competitive in this tournament. And he mentioned, I saw an interview with him, he's not getting ready for a season. This is it for him. He can throw 1,000 pitches. He can be a starter. He can be a long guy, give him short guy. He doesn't care. He just wants to help the USA have a chance to win this tournament. And how cool would it be for him after winning back-to-back World Series to end up on Team USA and win a gold medal in the WBC? That would be a good way to go out.
Oh, I just cannot wait to see what he still has in the tank. So, Ted, USA is taking on Brazil tomorrow. The over-under, the Vegas line in that game is 9.5. That's a little extreme. I like USA in that game, but that's a little nuts. And, Ted, I know you told me about Team Italy could be a little bit of an underrated, maybe overlooked team in the WBC.
Well, the reason for that, they got 5 pitchers that are all major league starting pitchers. They also have every one of their position players is a major league player. That hasn't been the case for Italy in the past. They had some young guys that were up and coming. They had older guys, but never a full roster of big leaguers like they have right now. And one of them is Jack Caglione, and he's one of the most exciting players to watch over the next few years.
Let's shift on over to some spring training ball. Now, there's been, I know it's just spring training, but there's been some eye poppers. The balls are flying out of the park. Ted, we got a crazy game earlier. The Padres dropping 27 runs on the Mariners, beating them 27-6. Listen to these stats really quick. 27 runs on 28 hits, 8 homers, 9 doubles. That's just one of the games with a lot of runs. We also had the Yankees losing 15-0 to the Minnesota Twins. We also had the A's beating the Angels 16-11. A lot of double digits in spring training so far. I know, again, it's only spring, but Ted, has there been any teams that have been popping out to you? I mean, is the Padres mashing 27 runs or the Yankees losing 15-0 any cause for concern?
No, usually in spring training, the pitchers are ahead of the hitters. And it could be that this year the hitters came a little more ready and pitchers are playing catch up. But I don't think it'll be a reflection on what we see during the season. It is spring, and I haven't seen who's thrown all those innings, but I have a feeling that there's been a lot of young guys coming up and getting a shot to just see what they can do.
All right, Tad. So with the WBC just heating up, I know you said I want to make sure that you're still going to Team Japan to win it all and go back to back the second 2 times within 3 years.
Yes, and it's just because of the team that they have, that fact that they've played a lot of tournament baseball together as a team, a lot more than the U.S. has, and therefore it's not like playing a full season of baseball. It's a tournament, and tournament baseball is much different than regular season or even playoff baseball, and Japan knows how to do it. So I'm just still sticking with them. The USA team is stacked, and if everybody comes together like they could, they're going to be a really good team too. But I just still like Japan as the favorite.
And you know, Tad, this is going to show up on a stat sheet, but I'm just going to go with the classic sports momentum. Seeing what Team USA did in the Winter Olympics, the women's and men's winning gold over Canada, I have a feeling that country inspiration is going to follow into the WBC for Team USA. Let's see if it does.
And last thing, I wanted to mention that we decided to do the Sandlot Radio Network Down Under podcast. This is the 19th episode. It's going to be the last one. The next time they'll be able to hear us, we'll be on radio on Fox Sports LA, and we'll be starting April 11th will be the start date. So we're taking a little bit of time off, but the Sandlot never fully goes to sleep, and we'll be back in April to entertain and inform and educate all the Sandlot listeners out there.
I cannot wait, and I even can't wait to be back for that to give my idiotic 2 cents while you look a lot smarter than me. All right, Tad, that's been great. Baseball officially started. Now let's get to your champ of the week.
We're with our Sandlot Radio Network Down Under podcast champion character of the week, Benjamin Franklin Pike. Frankie, thanks so much for being a guest on the Sandlot.
Boss, glad to be here.
The champ of the week is a kid that is coachable, is honorable, has a positive mental attitude, is known to persevere through the tough times. He's a leader, so he's like a mentor to teammates. And like I said, he perseveres through the tough times, and then he's a great sportsman. And Frankie, in my short time of watching you play baseball, I've seen you display all of that. And you're also a very, very advanced baseball player for your age, especially for this area. So again, I want to thank you for being a guest on the Sandlot and being such a great kid.
Thanks a lot.
Now, I know you play basketball. I know you play rugby league. I know you're very good at those sports, but you play baseball. How is it that you got involved in baseball? What is it that you love about it?
Well, Dad played all of his life. He played with a few of his siblings. He went off to college, junior college. And so when I was about 4 or 5, he signed me up to T-ball, and I've just been playing ever since.
Then did you have a knack for it right away? Like the first time you played T-ball, you knew you could stand there and smash that ball, or was it something that took a while for you to figure out?
No, not quite. It took me a while. The first time it really made me, I could play ball a bit, was my first rookie reps tournament. Someone was sick, and I stood in for them, and I had just the time ever, about 11.
And then, because you went up and played rookie reps, it gave you a feel for what kids with more advanced skills played like, because when you just play on your club team and you're just playing against club teams, there might be 1 or 2 players that stand out, but overall there's not that many great players. But when you get into the rep level, pretty much everybody can catch and throw and run and hit, so it's a different thing. And when you go out there at that level and you compete, that's when you really understand it. Man, I'm pretty good at this.
Yeah.
You're a big kid for your age, and you've taken advantage of the fact that being bigger and stronger translates into being really good at the game when you have skills. Skills in the game are very important. Baseball is a game that without skills, you can be a great athlete and not be able to get the job done. So I've noticed that you've really worked hard on your skills. Your dad and I have talked about one thing that I want you to really start working on is hip mobility and hip rotational speed. And that comes from doing like box jumps and broad jumps and plyometric training. Eventually those hips will be more flexible, and once that happens, when they move with more speed, your arm moves with more speed, and that's when it gets scary for the kids you're playing against, because Frankie, you're already throwing very hard for the competition, but man, when we teach you about that hip rotational speed and you start speeding those hips up, it's going to help you in basketball too. You'll be able to dunk here in no time.
That is something I've been working on in the gym. Yeah,
that's good. Well, in addition to rugby league, baseball, basketball. Is there another sport that you're sneaking in there?
I've been going to the driving range just a little bit in the last month or two, just dipping my toe in.
Play a little golf, mix that in. You know, a lot of the best baseball players in the world, they're really good golfers too, because it's just kind of goes hand in hand, that hand and eye coordination. Major league teams that you like, Franklin?
I've been going for the Padres.
Okay. And what players on the Padres do you like?
I really like Tatis.
He is very talented. He's close to what we call a five-tool player. He plays with a lot of flair and flash, which is something that's new to baseball. Back in the day, you had to be really humble about the way you played the game. But nowadays, guys really bring a lot of flair. I think it does add some excitement to the game. And if anybody has that, it's Mr. Tatis.
Yeah, exactly.
And just like you had a dad that played this game and went all the way to America and played college baseball. Tatis's dad was a pretty darn good major league player himself.
Yeah.
So you like the Padres, you like Tatis. Do you do some pitching, though? Are there any pitchers that you zone in on?
Paul Skeens. He's got some just stuff, man.
Yeah, and he just had an outing yesterday for Team USA, and he looked unhittable. So that's a good one. If you look at his workout videos, Franklin, some of the things that he does to develop his hip rotational speed, I would recommend that you watch his YouTube videos on training and try to emulate a bunch of that stuff, because over the next few years, man, you could be the Paul Skeens of Australia.
Yeah, here's hoping.
Here's hoping. He's Franklin Pike. What school do you go to wearing that nice uniform and tie?
Waverley College.
Waverley College. See, it sounds all fancy. Kids don't even know that here in Australia, when you're in college, that's just high school, isn't it?
Yeah, pretty much.
And your dad went to college in the United States, and that was secondary education. So it's a little different over here when you're in college. You're listening to the Sandlot Radio Network Down Under podcast. Don't go away. When we return, we have a very unlikely baseball lifer. He has a great Sandlot story. Adrian Perrin, also known as Pez. I'm your host, Tad Powers. The Sandlot. It's where everybody plays. The Sandlot is presented by Diego Austin Talavera.
Hello everyone, this is Tony Adamson from Perth, Western Australia. I listen to the Sandlot. I'm a baseballer, Hall of Fame member in the Australian Baseball Federation. Thanks, Ted.
Hey, this is Brian Murphy from Sydney, Australia. Ex-professional baseball player, still living the dream of playing the game, watching the game, coaching the game, and watching the next generation come through. Thanks, Tad.
This is Andrew Reynolds, voice of the Sydney Blue Sox, and you're listening to the Sandlot.
G'day everyone, I'm Graham Campbell. I'm a high performance manager for Baseball New South Wales. I'm lucky enough to have been inducted into the Baseball Australia and South Wales Hall of Fame, and I listen to the Sandlot Network.
This spring, something beautiful is blooming in Carlsbad Village. Introducing Diego Austin Talavera, a new coastal shop celebrating handcrafted Mexican Talavera pottery, vibrant succulents, and curated gifts inspired by Baja and Southern California. From statement planners to one-of-a-kind home accents, every piece is chosen to bring color, culture, and sunshine into your space. Opening soon on Carlsbad Village Drive. Follow the journey and shop online at DiegoAustinTalavera.com. Diego Austin Talavera, where coastal California meets the art of Mexico.
GYG has just reinvented the Caesar with our new Caesar salad, Caesar burrito, and Caesar Cali burrito. And I bet you didn't know that Caesar was created in Tijuana, Mexico over 100 years ago by Caesar Cardini. And now we have made the Caesar uniquely GYG. Crunchy Cos lettuce, free-range grilled chicken, or gourmet Caesar dressing, shredded jack cheese, and GYG's corn chips crushed. GYG Caesar, created in Mexico, reinvented by GYG.
When it comes to building your dream pool, experience matters. For 33 years, Freestyle Pools Sydney has delivered quality pools that stand the test of time. Brothers Rob and Ben personally manage every job from start to finish, working closely with skilled, reliable tradies who take pride in their work. With regular industry award-winning builds, the quality of Freestyle Pools truly stands out. Experience, craftsmanship, and service you can trust. Freestyle Pools Sydney, built for life.
Hi, everybody. This is Rick Mundy, former Major League player, former All-Star, and now broadcaster with the Los Angeles Dodgers. You're tuned in exactly where you need to be. It's Sandlot, and it's baseball.
Talking baseball, the man and Bobby fella, the Scooter, the Barber, and the Duke. They knew them all from Boston to Dubuque.
Especially Shohei, Mookie, and the Judge. Welcome back to the Sandlot Radio Network Down Under podcast, presented by Diego Austin Talavera. I'm your host, Tad Powers. Now we have the guy that has been dying to tell his story on the Sandlot. This man was so dedicated to the game of baseball. If he had too big of a night out hitting the streets, he would just crash in the dugout of the baseball field so he wouldn't miss the game in the morning. Baseball lifer Adrian Perrin. You're listening to the Sandlot Radio Network Down Under podcast. Today's guest is an unlikely baseball lifer. His name is Adrian Perrin. He grew up here in the Sutherland Shire. Mr. Perrin, thanks so much for being a guest on the Sandlot.
Oh, thanks a lot for having me, Tad. Absolute pleasure to be here, mate.
Now, you were a fixture in the Cronulla Association for a long time. A lot of people know the name Adrian Perrin because you're a guy that carries a big stick, so to speak. And one of the things that you've got a voice that carries, and you don't hold back when you have something to say. So people know you are based on that. They also know because as a youngster, Adrian became a really good baseball player. And we're going to tell the story about how you ended up in baseball because not every Aussie ends up playing baseball. And you're a guy that was attracted to rugby league at a young age, but something influenced you to try another sport. So let's talk about how you got started in baseball.
Okay, well, I definitely wanted to be a rugby league player. I know exactly how I got started in baseball, and that was my family was staying at the greatest wiffle ball stadium in the world at Manchester Unity Holiday Flats, just above Cronulla Point there. And I met you and a couple of your American mates and your family. And you suggested, after watching me throw a ball, that I should play baseball. And I actually wanted nothing to do with it. I just wanted to be a rugby league player, and I thought it was a little bit strange. And I went down and had my first, I think it was after we first met your family, that we went down to Kelso Park and we went to sign up at East Hills Baseball Club. And they had a spot for my brother or me or one or the other. And then we went over to Arncliffe Scots and ended up saying, yes, I'll have a go at it. And after my first season of under 12 Division 3, I believe it was, I just fell in love with it. I actually remember, if you don't mind me talking about it, the first ever game I played, my mother drove me to Bonnet Bay Baseball Field in the 57 Chev. And she actually had a little minor car accident. And she dropped me at the field with a bunch of people I'd never seen before in my life and didn't really want to be there. But my first at bat, I watched ball 1, strike 1, ball 2, strike 2, and then I realised, if this guy throws another strike 3 in baseball, you're out. So I had to swing at the next pitch, and I hit it, and I hit a home run in my first ever game, and I've been addicted ever since.
First at bat, first ever game, Adrian Perrin hits a home run. And for the Arncliffe Scots Division 3 12s, which is not very good baseball, but when you're starting out, that's where you're going to play. And in a very short period of time, you made the leap. We had some camps going on. Your mom was interested in you being a pitcher, so she had me spend some one-on-one time with you to teach you a little bit more about the finer things about mechanics of pitching. And you being a big kid and with a good arm, it ended up working out pretty good for you. For a while there, you started becoming one of the better players in the area for your age.
Well, that's true. Like as we say, like under 12 Division 3, there was 2 Division 2 teams and a Division 1 team just from Arncliffe above me. And my coach at the time, Peter Higgins, suggested that I go down and try out for the state cup team. And I didn't even know what that was. And it was just the rep team. And I'm like, well, how am I going to make this team if there's all these kids above me? And anyway, I went down there to trial at Endeavour High School and had a go at it, just thinking, this is just stupid. I don't know why I'm doing this. And one of the things I'll never forget, and as a person that needs to be mentioned, was Graham McGraw was the coach. Another fellow I got to play with was Jared Mangione. He signed to the Blue Jays a few years later, and yeah, like I made my first state cup team, and I'll be honest, it's a bit embarrassing to say, especially on the podcast, but when I got to wear the Cronulla baseball uniform, I slept in it for 3 days. I was just like, oh wow, I'm a rep baseball player. I didn't even want to do this. This is weird, you know. And a couple of years later, I ended up playing for Sydney, New South Wales, and I actually took the field with a bloke called Richard Thompson, who played Major League for the Anaheim Angels. You know, just incredible. I didn't dream of it. I didn't want anything to do with it, but I played it and I loved it, and I'm still playing it and I'm still loving it. But yeah, very, very good times.
So like I said, an unlikely life for baseball, because you didn't want to play. You end up playing kind of late, 12 years old, but you got good quick. You made representative teams for the local area, but you made the state team as well. And by doing that, that meant that you were going to play with the best kids in New South Wales and against the best kids in Australia. So you advance pretty quickly. And then with life the way it is, and opportunities and decisions that we have to make, you know, we have to make decisions, and sometimes they're good and sometimes they're bad. And they don't always put us in the right direction that we want to go, because when you were at your best, Pez, that's when you really needed to turn it up.
Yeah. I mean, just reflecting, just thinking about what you're saying. I mean, yeah, growing up, I'm not even going to say I was the best. I certainly wasn't the best, but to mix it up with a few guys that ended up going all the way is pretty cool. And I guess, I mean, what I'm thinking now is a message that I could say to anybody: if you want to make it, the only way to do it is to be dedicated. You know, I just got very, very lucky. You know, I got very lucky. Like, I don't think I was a naturally good baseball player. I just happened to be a little bit big. But I had someone like yourself, and I don't want to, you know, pump your tires up too much, Tad. You've done enough. But to have someone like yourself, like you teach me, like I got taught how to do baseball properly from a very young age. And I'm still around baseball players now that haven't been taught some basic things, you know, like, I actually watched a couple of 24-year-olds the other day. There was a cutoff going from center field to home plate. And the pitcher that was in the middle of it, who shouldn't have been there, and the cutoff guy, they all had to explain to each other, oh, I thought you were going to catch it. I thought you were going to catch it. And if you had caught it, you would have ruined a play at home plate. And it's like, well, the catcher's got to call cut, or don't say anything. And if he doesn't say anything, the cutoff guy doesn't touch the ball. And just to watch that from a bunch of 24-year-olds was like, really, did no one how to do this properly? Do you know what I mean? And so I'm very grateful that I got taught by you from a very young age. The first person to ever teach me was a Major League talent scout, which is pretty cool. You know what I mean? But it just made my experience of baseball great, and helped me have the privilege of standing on the field with some absolutely awesome baseball players, you know? So, yeah, thank you.
Adrian, we're going to talk about number 81, because when I came to Cronulla, they asked me what number did I want to wear, and I said, well, what's available? And they held out a couple jerseys, and I tried them on, and the number 81 fit me good. So I thought, well, this one fits well. I'll wear this. And number 81 was this number that I just picked randomly because it fit nicely. There was no story behind the number 81. I had never worn number 81 before in my life. I'd probably played on 25 teams before that in my life or more, and I never wore number 81. But once I did, it became something here in Cronulla, and you can tell your story about that number.
Okay, so it actually brings a very, very, very big smile to my face, and it's actually a little bit embarrassing, but it's kind of a cool story. So when I tried out for that state cup team when I was like 11 or 12 or whatever it was, and I made the team, and it was all good. But this lovely lady, Marie Ross, who was the president at the time of Arncliffe Scots baseball, she came to me at Phil Austin Field one night, and she goes, hello, love. Just want to know what name and number do you want written on your jersey, and how do you want your name to be written? And I was like, what do you mean? Like, nobody has their names and numbers written on their jerseys. Like, that's a bit, you know, what's this for? And she goes, no, darling, you made it to the state cup team. You're a representative player. So this is how we distinguish you from everybody else. And I was like, oh my God, does anybody else get this? And she goes, yeah, Chris Ross and Corey Clark, two guys that were a grade above me. They get their names and their numbers written on their jerseys. And I was like, oh goodness me. And she goes, you don't need to tell me now, but just let me know. And I was like, I thought about my rugby league numbers, number 4, number 11, number 12. But I watched you play down at Tonkin, and I watched how you played baseball, and I was like, I just want to be like that guy. I want to be like Tad Powers, and that number 81, like no one else is going to wear that. That's a unique looking number. That's cool. So I got my little Arncliffe Scots jersey with A. Perrin, number 81. Yeah, and I've worn that number ever since, and I've got about 39 jerseys with number 81 on it. And may I continue and tell the beautiful part of that story?
So you wore number 81 and you have around 39. No, you have 39. You don't say you have around.
Yeah.
You've counted them, and there's 39 number 81s.
There's 39.
I've only worn one, and it was on the Cronulla Sharks jersey. I still have it. You gave me one. I'm going to give it back to you, though, Pez, because you need to have that because I have one of my own. So I want to give that back to you. And but we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to get more about this number 81 and the story behind it. And interesting thing that happened to you at a pub one day because you were wearing number 81. But don't go away. We have more from the Pez, Adrian Perrin, when we return to the Sandlot Radio Network Down Under podcast. I'm your host, Tad Powers. The Sandlot, it's where everybody plays. The Sandlot is presented by Diego Austin Talavera.
I'm Michael Everton. I'm the Baseball Australia National Tournament Manager, and I listen to the Sandlot.
This is Glenn Williams, former Major League player and current CEO of Baseball Australia, and you're listening to the Sandlot Radio Network.
G'day guys, it's Michael Campbell of the Sydney Blue Sox. I'm a baseball lifer and you're listening to the Sandlot Radio.
I'm Phil Brassington, former Australian representative, former player for the Kansas City Royals, longtime minor leaguer and world traveller in the baseball world, and I listen to the Sandlot.
This spring, something beautiful is blooming in Carlsbad Village. Introducing Diego Austin Talavera, a new coastal shop celebrating handcrafted Mexican Talavera pottery, vibrant succulents, and curated gifts inspired by Baja and Southern California. From statement planners to one-of-a-kind home accents, every piece is chosen to bring color, culture, and sunshine into your space. Opening soon on Carlsbad Village Drive. Follow the journey and shop online at DiegoAustinTalavera.com. Diego Austin Talavera, where coastal California meets the art of Mexico.
GYG has just reinvented the Caesar with our new Caesar salad, Caesar burrito, and Caesar Cali burrito. And I bet you didn't know that Caesar was created in Tijuana, Mexico over 100 years ago by Caesar Cardini. And now we have made the Caesar uniquely GYG.
Crunchy Cos lettuce, free-range grilled chicken, or gourmet Caesar dressing, shredded jack cheese, and GYG's corn chips crushed. GYG Caesar, created in Mexico, reinvented by GYG.
When it comes to building your dream pool, experience matters. For 33 years, Freestyle Pools Sydney has delivered quality pools that stand the test of time. Brothers Rob and Ben personally manage every job from start to finish, working closely with skilled, reliable tradies who take pride in their work. With regular industry award-winning builds, the quality of Freestyle Pools truly stands out. Experience, craftsmanship, and service you can trust. Freestyle Pools Sydney, built for life.
Hey everybody, this is Trevor Hoffman, a Hall of Famer and a San Diego Padre, and you're listening to The Sandlot.
Welcome back to The Sandlot. It's where everybody plays. I'm your host, Tad Powers. The Sandlot is presented by Diego Austin Talavera. Right now we have more from Pez. We're back with Adrian Perrin on the Sandlot Radio Network Down Under podcast. Pez, thanks for sticking around.
Tease, mate. How you going?
Doing good. All right, so we talked about number 81, why you ended up wearing it. You have 39 number 81 jerseys that you've played in that jersey throughout your whole life from the time you're 12 until today. And so that's how many years? 30 years?
31.
31 years that you've been playing baseball. And that's pretty cool because in America, guys play baseball through college. Maybe they get a little bit of time in pro ball. Maybe they play a little independent ball. But after that, they're done. And what's cool about Australia, guys keep playing for the club until they can't play any longer. And here you are, Pez, still playing baseball. So that pleases me very much.
Yeah.
And it also shows me that you really are a baseball lifer.
Yeah, cool. Thanks, mate.
So 81, this number, I never knew that 8 and 1 were, the letter H is the 8th letter in the alphabet. And the number 1 is the first letter in the alphabet. So HA, that stands for the Hells Angels. I didn't know that. You didn't know that.
Yeah.
You found
I
out.
found out by mistake.
Let's go ahead and tell that story because it's a pretty cool story.
Yeah, so just having a couple of beers at the pub down the road from my house, and I don't know how we got in the conversation about it, but we were talking baseball and we were talking all sorts of garbage, and number 81 came up, and I showed a fella. I said, I've got about 39 jerseys with number 81 on it. And this one fella says to me, he goes, you can't wear that. And I said, why can't I wear that? He says, because that stands for HA, that's Hell's Angels. And I was like, what do you mean? And there was like 3 or 4 guys that actually had Hell's Angels tattoos on their necks, and one guy had a missing leg. And I was like, oh my God. And, I'd had a bit of an exciting day that day. And I was like, mate, you can't tell me I can't wear that number. I've been wearing it since I was a kid. It's my baseball number. I don't care about your motorcycle club or any whatever. And he's like, no, mate, you can't wear it. And I said, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to ring my mother. So I rang my mother, Sue, and I said, Mum, you need to explain to this member from the Hells Angels that he reckons I can't wear number 81 because it's a Hells Angels number. And he's upset with me, and you need to have a chat with him. And anyway, Sue Perrin gets on the phone, and then this guy gets off the phone after a minute or two's conversation. He says, I'm sorry, Adrian. I've spoken to your mother. She's a lovely lady, and you can continue wearing number 81. I said, thank you very much, sir.
Wow.
God bless.
That's crazy. Well, I think everybody learned something about that number today because I didn't know it. But to have somebody from the Hells Angels telling you can't wear it and then they change their mind once they talk to Sue, your mama, who I've known for a really long time as well, that is pretty amazing. She must have said some really cool things to them.
Yeah, she would have. She would have entered their whole clubhouse, mate.
And ironically, I'm sure it's a story that they tell amongst their inner circle as well, because here they thought that they were going to muscle somebody, and he called his mommy.
Yeah, and you know what? And to be frank with you, and it was actually quite a nice thing. It was a few of the boys actually shook hands and were like, normally most guys get scared, and I'm like, mate, I know a lot of blokes from motorcycle clubs, and these are all nice blokes. Like, I play baseball. This is my number. Like, I'm not no threat to anybody. Like, unless we're on the baseball field, I might win a game against you and embarrass you, but it's okay.
Well, that's a cool story, Paz, and I'm glad you shared it. Your brother Ryan Perrin still plays baseball too. He started at that same time because of the Manchester Unity Holiday Flats vacation that you took. And you guys did that I think we were there 3 years, and you guys took your vacations there all of those 3 years. So we got to see you every summer. And you got to play wiffle ball, and which was probably the best wiffle ball. It is the best wiffle ball park I've ever played in. It was like it was designed for wiffle ball, but nobody knew it but us. And it was like, imagine people that are baseball fans, Detroit Tigers Stadium before the new one, they had 3 decks, and then they had a roof. And we had the same thing. We had a home run because there was a fence. There was foul poles that were perfectly in the perfect spots because they were the supports for the upper deck. And then there was a roof, and it was blue. And so we could hit a home run over the fence. We could hit it in the upper deck. We could hit it onto the roof, or we could hit it over the roof. The game that we played there with wiffle ball and a strike zone, which was a lawn chair. And we had it set up so if you crushed one, you'd get it on the roof. If you really crushed one, it'd go over the roof. Now, that way that worked, it's 4 runs for the upper deck. If they hit it over, it was a cricket 6. But because the ball landed out in the parking lot, there was this ramp. And if you successfully threw the ball from the parking lot down the ramp,
Yeah, I remember the ramp.
Then it would only be a double. It would take the 6 runs away. But if you missed it, it was a cricket 6. So pretty cool. And we played there a lot over that 3-year period of time. We had a groundskeeper that kept the grass perfectly groomed. It was like a fairway. It was perfect grass. And then we even had fans that, because people that were staying there on their holiday would come out and sit in that upper deck seating in their lawn chairs and just watch the game. And the other thing, being on the Esplanade, anyone that's ever gone for a walk on the Esplanade in Cronulla knows that a lot of people do that. So we attracted a lot of people through just playing a very strange game, wiffle ball. A lot of people had never seen it, and there was a couple little kids playing it. So it really brought a lot of interest to our game.
Yeah.
Paz, you remember the wiffle ball park? I know that. You remember your first days. You got to play. You played catch with me because I said, "Hey, man, come out and throw the ball around." Because my job at the time was to get more kids interested in baseball, get more kids signed up to play the game. And you were a kid.
Can I tell you one of the best things about that, Tad?
Yes.
I got to tell you this. It's so funny. So I went for a surf one morning, and I came back and I saw you and some other guy, American guy, throwing a baseball to each other, and you both were wearing socks and sandals, and you had baseball mitts on. And you said to me, "Hey, guy, you want to come play catch?" And I was like, "What are you talking about?" Like, I thought, because all the kids played bull rush and tell ghost stories at night time, whatever. And I worked out, obviously, you wanted me to come and throw the baseball. And I was like, yeah, sweet. I went inside and I said to my dad, I said, "Oi, Dad, have you seen these 2 blokes outside?" And my dad was like, yeah, I've seen them. I'm not going to say exactly what he said. I said, "The big fella over there with the blue hat on wants me to go and throw the ball with him. Is that all right?" And he goes, "Yeah, that's fine." And so I got changed out of my wetsuit and I came out and I threw the ball with you. And I remember you said to me, "You got a good arm, guy. You should play baseball." And I was like, no way, And 30 years later, I'm still playing. I've got a game on Wednesday night. I've got another one on Sunday. And, yeah, it's been very, very life-changing experience and absolutely fantastic, man. I'm so happy to be on this podcast. And, you've had guys on the podcast, you've interviewed Richard Thompson. I ended up taking the field with Richard Thompson. He played Major League Baseball, and it's a very, very cool thing. It's been very, very cool. And I'm still acquainted with you. I'm still good friends with Kate and Cody, and yeah, it's been lovely, man. And yeah.
You're listening to the Sandlot Radio Network Down Under podcast. Don't go away. We have more when we return. I'm your host, Tad Powers. The Sandlot is presented by Diego Austin Talavera.
We're at the Sandlot Baseball Camp in Denali, New South Wales, Australia, at the Congo Comets Baseball Club. And we listen to the Sandlot!
G'day, I'm Jake Burns, professional player for the Brisbane Bandits, and I listen to the Sandlot.
Hi, my name's Chris Oxspring. World baseball travelled, played in 4 major leagues across the world, United States, Japan, Korea, and Australia. And I listen to the Sandlot Radio Network in Australia.
This spring, something beautiful is blooming in Carlsbad Village. Introducing Diego Austin Talavera, a new coastal shop celebrating handcrafted Mexican Talavera pottery, vibrant succulents, and curated gifts inspired by Baja and Southern California. From statement planners to one-of-a-kind home accents, every piece is chosen to bring color, culture, and sunshine into your space. Opening soon on Carlsbad Village Drive. Follow the journey and shop online at DiegoAustinTalavera.com. Diego Austin Talavera, where coastal California meets the art of Mexico.
GYG has just reinvented the Caesar with our new Caesar salad, Caesar burrito, and Caesar Cali burrito. And I bet you didn't know that Caesar was created in Tijuana, Mexico over 100 years ago by Caesar Cardini. And now we have made the Caesar uniquely GYG.
Crunchy Cos lettuce, free-range grilled chicken, or gourmet Caesar dressing, shredded jack cheese, and GYG's corn chips crushed. GYG Caesar, created in Mexico, reinvented by GYG.
When it comes to building your dream pool, experience matters. For 33 years, Freestyle Pools Sydney has delivered quality pools that stand the test of time. Brothers Rob and Ben personally manage every job from start to finish, working closely with skilled, reliable tradies who take pride in their work. With regular industry award-winning builds, the quality of freestyle pools truly stands out. Experience, craftsmanship, and service you can trust. Freestyle Pools Sydney, built for life.
My name is Takar Kheldanace, and I was drafted by the Boston Black Sox, and I listen to the Sandlot.
I'm Caitlin Arnon from Western Australia. I play in the Women's Australian National Team, and I've just been drafted to the Women's Professional Baseball League, and I listen to the Sandlot podcast.
It was pretty much decided for me to play baseball when I was born.
The Sandlot's where it all starts, doesn't it?
I wasn't bigger than everybody. I just threw harder.
It doesn't take any talent to hustle.
If you don't pull for the Dodgers, there's a good chance you may not get into heaven.
Something happening here.
Welcome back to the Sandlot Radio Network Down Under podcast. The Sandlot, it's where everybody plays. I'm your host, Tad Powers. The Sandlot is presented by Diego Austin Talavera. Right now, we have more from Pez. That was 1993. I came here to Cronulla just to see if I could help a club get better. After 1 year, I realized that it was going to be a pretty big job and that I needed 5 years. So they did it. They signed me to a 5-year contract, so I knew I was going to come back for those 5 years and try to do a really good job of making it better, and got into the schools, ended up getting to all the primary and secondary schools over that 5 years, promoted the game of baseball. And the time I got here, Cronulla Association had about 500. And after 5 years, we had about 1,500. And the numbers of teams from every club just skyrocketed. So we created some hype. We got a lot of media back in the day locally, and that helped promote it. And then we had the beautiful venue of Tonkin Oval, which to this day, a lot of people say it's the best place they've ever played a baseball game. And there was
100%.
so many cool things about it and a lot of strange things about it. It was a cricket pitch. It's a cricket ground. It's got a cricket pitch, created some odd plays, picket fence, the short porch and left and right, and then the deep center field. There were so many aspects of that field that made it unique. But you had the train above you that created the crowd off the train. You had the normal activity that goes around Tonkin Oval going on, and they just would stop and watch the baseball. And then you had the seaplane landing right there. So there were so many cool aspects that no other ballpark that I've ever played in offered, that Tonkin Oval did offer.
Well, let me say this to you again. Like I didn't care about playing baseball, but I ended up playing it and loving it. And Tonkin Oval, oh my goodness me. Like, I understand now being older, yeah, there's not a good warm-up area for both teams or anything like that. But I still speak to guys that played back in the day. The best place to play baseball. No one got upset playing at Tonkin. And even the cricket pitch in the middle, no one got upset with it too much because everybody used to enjoy going to Tonkin. And look, you know, especially with yourself, when we go back to Manchester Unity, and when I met you guys, I met your kids. You know, Cody was in nappies in a wheelchair, not a wheelchair, a stroller. You know, and we used to slide down the hill down near the train line before they built that fence. You know, and we used to spend hours down there. We used to spend hours watching you and watching Mark Dollymore, an absolute legend. Tony Egan, Drew Lake, Terry Maddai, Steve Davidson. Steve Davidson must have hit at least 5 balls into that water. You know, that was pretty cool. And I've got to say, and you know, indulge in myself, but there was a day there that I hit a walk-off.
One of the cool things about baseball for you and your family, it holds generations of families together. And the fact that you and your brother are still playing, your mom and dad still come and watch your brother play. Your brother's got kids that play the game now. It holds generations of families together. And in your case, baseball was one of the things that helped you stay out of trouble that would have been serious trouble. And you've said it to me before that without the game, you might have been in quite a bit of trouble. So that's another thing that's cool about baseball. And then for me, holding generations of the family together, my kids watched just like you did me play at Tonkin. They got to come back and experience it as kids, as adults, and play for the Cronulla Sharks as well. They witnessed you hit a walk-off against our arch rival, Balcombe Hills. So that was a really cool thing for me, for them, and for you, for them to be there when you did that.
Oh, and look, I didn't realize it at the time. You know, I was just happy that I did it. You know, it was a second grade game. It was the last last game before Christmas, and we were losing 9-2. And I actually had a little bit of a snap at my teammates, and I'm not going to say exactly what I said. I blew up and I was like, boys, you're all going to claim at Christmas time with your grandmas and your families that you play rep baseball. And if this is the kind of garbage you're going to dish up, then no, it's not good enough. We've got 1 hour to go. Let's go. We were losing 9-2. We were losing 9-2 with an hour to go. And we fought back. And it got to the stage where we were down by 2. I think we were down by 2 or we were down by 1, whatever we were down by. But I was up to bat. And the Balkan Hills club, they got the guy that was meant to start the first grade game. And they pulled him on to face me, to get me out to win the game. And I was nervous. I was actually nervous and I was scared. I'm like, oh my God, here we go. We're going to lose, shit. I was very nervous. But he walked down off the mound at Tonkin and he says to me, get out of it, get out of the way. And I said, what are you talking about? Are you talking to me? And the umpire, a very good umpire, Riley Barrington, said, Adrian, he's asked you nicely to move away. And I remember turning around to my good mate, Robert Williams, and I said, mate, and I'm not going to say exactly because we're on the podcast, but I grabbed Robbo by the shirt and I said, mate, I'm going to sort this out, but if I can't sort it out, you've got to sort this out. And I went from being nervous to, I've got this. And I hit a ball and, we won the game and it was beautiful, but I didn't realise it was magic against Borco because, we hate Borco and all the rest of it. But it was a few months later that another good mate of mine, Nathan Parks, sent me all these photos. And I realised that Cody Powers and Cade Towers were in these photos. And I'm like, how cool is that? The first time I met all of you people, Cody was in nappies in a stroller. Cade we had his little blonde mullet and he was about 5 years old. And that was so cool, and I didn't realise it at the time about that part because I just won a game, so I thought I was an absolute legend. But, it's so cool, man. The whole story is just beautiful. Just magic.
Well, Paz, he is an unlikely baseball lifer, but him and his brother, who started way back in '93 because of the Manchester Unity connection, still playing the game. I want to thank you so much for sharing your stories and being a guest on the Sandlot Radio Network Down Under podcast. By the way, it's the last one of the season. We're going to be back on radio on Fox Sports Radio LA in April, starting the 11th. So this is the last show of the year, and you convinced me to do it because we had to hear Pez's story.
Hey, thanks heaps, Tad, for having me, man. It's been a beautiful story, and I understand, the caliber of the guys that you do get to interview, and to be in that mix is pretty cool. And if you ever get to the chance, if I come again to America, I'd like to meet Clayton Kershaw, if you've got the chance.
Remember, you can listen to the Sandlot Radio Network Down Under podcast and the Sandlot Radio Network radio show by going to SiriusXM Radio, MLB Network podcast platform, and on YouTube, Spotify, SoundCloud, Pandora, Apple Music, and Simplecast. Remember to explore the Sandlot Radio Network Facebook and Instagram pages for video content with the Major League players. Also check out our website, sandlotradionetwork.com, for photos and reels from our long history of covering everything from the Sandlot and everything in between all the way to the big leagues. The Sandlot has been proudly presented by Diego Austin Talavera and sponsored by the Sandlot Radio Network, Grit Sports Collective, Guzman y Gomez, GYG, the best Mexican in Australia, and Freestyle Pools Sydney, pools that withstand the test of time. The Sandlot, it's where everybody plays. It's a place of our own. It's our field. It's our neighborhood. It's our team. It's our home. I'm your host, Tad Powers.
Damn it! Who typed a question mark on the teleprompter? For the last time, anything you put on that prompter, Burgundy will read.
This spring, something beautiful is blooming in Carlsbad Village. Introducing Diego Austin Talavera, a new coastal shop celebrating handcrafted Mexican Talavera pottery, vibrant succulents, and curated gifts inspired by Baja and Southern California. From statement planners to one-of-a-kind home accents, every piece is chosen to bring color, culture, and sunshine into your space. Opening soon on Carlsbad Village Drive. Follow the journey and shop online at DiegoAustinTalavera.com. Diego Austin Talavera, where coastal California meets the art of Mexico.
Do you want more than just wins for your kids? Do you want confidence, character, and grit? At Grit Sports Collective, we help young athletes play with purpose and train with passion. With elite coaching in baseball and basketball, we're building more than skills, we're building competitors. Because greatness starts with mindset and is earned through sweat. Grit Sports Collective. Play fierce, train harder. Now enrolling in San Diego, California. Visit gritsportscollective.com and sign up today.
GYG has just reinvented the Caesar with our new Caesar salad, Caesar burrito, and Caesar Cali burrito. And I bet you didn't know that Caesar was created in Tijuana, Mexico over 100 years ago by Caesar Cardini. And now we have made the Caesar uniquely GYG.
Crunchy Cos lettuce, free-range grilled chicken, or gourmet Caesar dressing, shredded jack cheese, and GYG's corn chips crushed. GYG Caesar, created in Mexico, reinvented by GYG.
When it comes to building your dream pool, experience matters. For 33 years, Freestyle Pools Sydney has delivered quality pools that stand the test of time. Brothers Rob and Ben personally manage every job from start to finish, working closely with skilled, reliable tradies who take pride in their work. With regular industry award-winning builds, the quality of Freestyle Pools truly stands out. Experience, craftsmanship, and service you can trust. Freestyle Pools Sydney, built for life.